One game for the Indiana Pacers in their third Eastern Conference Final. One game from their first NBA Final. One game for Larry Bird, who knows what it means to be an NBA champion, who reached the finals 5 times as a player. One game to get there again in his first year as a coach. One game for the Chicago Bulls, the NBA's team of the 90s. One game to sustain a dynasty or end it. One game from a finals rematch with the Utah Jazz. We can only guess what the future holds for Michael Jordan, but for the most fabled athlete of our time, there could be only one game left, and that one game could be tonight. One game. Game 7. Next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA playoffs. Tonight, it's the Indiana Pacers versus the Chicago Bulls.
For the first time in its brief history, the United Center is the stage for a 7th game in the NBA playoffs. The Indiana Pacers won 3 ABA titles. They've never been to the finals in the NBA. This is the 3rd time in the last 5 years they've faced a 7th game on the road in the conference finals, one step away from the NBA's biggest show. Moments ago, the Chicago Bulls went through their usual pregame ritual, although there's nothing usual about a Game 7.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
And welcome to Game 7, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. One of the distinguishing characteristics of this great run by the Chicago Bulls is the relative ease with which they have dispatched their opponents in their championship seasons. In fact, they have never faced an elimination game, a Game 7, as late as the conference finals or the finals in any of the 5 seasons in which they won the title. So this is something new for them. For Michael Jordan, in this his 36th playoff series, it's just his 3rd Game 7. But MJ offers assurances that the dynasty will not end here tonight.
We're going to win Game 7.
Well, it's not quite Babe Ruth calling his shot or Joe Namath as a nearly 3-touchdown underdog guaranteeing a win in Super Bowl III. But when the question was put to him directly, Michael said, sure, we're home, we're the champs, we'll win. Isaiah Thomas is here, so too is Doug Collins. A Bulls win may be likely, but what's likely doesn't always happen in sports. If you were Phil Jackson, Doug, what would your biggest concern be tonight?
Well, Bob, before the series started, Phil Jackson said, Michael Jordan cannot beat this team alone. That would be my biggest concern. Michael needs help today in the form of Dennis Rodman on the boards and defensively, and he needs help from Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc. In Game 5, they were terrific. You see the points and assists. In Game 6, Michael 35, Scottie and Tony only 9 of 25, 3 assists. Neither had a field goal in the 4th quarter. Michael needs to be fresh in the last 6 minutes of this game. So if the game is close, he can do what he does best, be the best closer in the NBA.
All right, let's turn to the Indiana Pacers. They did not come this far just to be able to say that they made it exciting and they made it interesting. They came this far to win.
Bob, they came to win, but they want to forget about Game 5. You see, in Game 5, they shot terribly from the field. What they want to do is find gold inside, as they did in Game 6. They have established Smith and Davis in the low post. You see, they were combined 18 of 21 from the field. Now, if Indiana has any shot at winning this game here tonight, they got to go back to Smith and Davis in the low post to free up the perimeter for Miller and Mullins. Bob?
48 minutes, at least in regulation, to decide who plays the Utah Jazz for the NBA title. Game 7 is next. beautiful spring evening in Chicago. Inside the United Center, here are the starting lineups for tonight's Game 7. Reggie Miller held under double figures for the first time in the playoffs in Game 6, but of course he virtually won Games 3 and 4 for the Pacers. Chris Mullin had 18 points here in Game 2 on 6 of 10. Since then, 18 points total on 6 of 23, averaging only 4.5 points a game. They need some offense from him. Larry Bird, the NBA's Coach of the Year, with his assistants Rick Carlisle and Dick Harder. Here's Phil Jackson's lineup. Michael Jordan needs just 5 points tonight to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the NBA's all-time leading playoff scorer. Kukoc in the starting lineup again, but if Dale Davis begins to get into the blocks and score early, we'll see Rodman off the bench sooner than we have earlier in this series. Phil Jackson, the all-time leading coach in terms of winning percentage in both the regular season and the playoffs in NBA history. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Before the last game, I told you the whole thing about the Bulls is about closure. It didn't happen. Today, there's a lot of concern in that Bulls locker room, and mainly because of the uncertainty. Like you reported earlier, Michael Jordan told me he's only been in this situation 3 times, only 1 time successfully, which makes him feel uneasy. He also said he's feeling a lot of pressure, not so much on how he'll play, but if the Bulls will rise to the occasion. They don't have to wait long because the game is about to begin. But before that, let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, Larry Bird told his team to wear their uniforms to the game. He wanted them to focus early. Then when they got here, he gave a very emotional and personal speech. He told them, guys, believe in yourselves. Believe in your dreams. We can win this whole thing. He then went on to tell them of the 1981 Celtics and his first title and the parade that the team had and what it felt like to have a whole city salute you. He said, guys, it can all be yours. I believe in you. Believe in yourselves. Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose, and a lot of the guys told me it really got to them. Bob?
Jim, thanks a lot. The last time a road team won a 7th game as late as the conference finals or finals, the Philadelphia 76ers against Bird's Celtics at Boston Garden in 1982. One of 2 7th games that Larry Bird lost in 8 tries. His Celtics won 6 of 8 7th games. Chicago with the game's first possession. Pippen drives, misses on the run. And Jackson has the loose ball.
Look for the Bulls today to put more ball pressure on. They thought their ball pressure was very weak in Game 6.
Miller lobs to Smits. He finds Dale Davis, who gets inside for the dunk.
And that's where Indiana will attack right away with Smits and Davis.
That's just the way Game 6 began, with Dale Davis getting position inside and slamming one home. He ended with a playoff career high of 19. Kukoc ties it, plus a foul.
You can see early in this ball game, Chicago, 2 possessions, Scottie Pippen to the basket, Kukoc to the basket. And that was a strong finish by Tony Kukoc going to his right. I thought Scottie flipped the ball up to get away from the contact. He's going to have to go strong in this game.
The officials are Hugh Evans, Dick Bavetta, and Jack Neese. 3-2 Chicago.
Remember now, Bob, Tony Kukoc is a much more effective player when he gets off early on the offense.
Pippen trying to thwart Jackson as he has most of the series. Smits gives it back to Jackson, who hits the baseline J.
That opens the entire game up. Remember now, Pippen floats. He roams off Mark Jackson.
Kukoc. Short. Rebound to Jordan. His first shot is a putback. And Chicago has a 5-4 lead. Jackson into the lane for Smits. Knocked away by Longley, but Luke is hit with the foul.
Now you watch the way Michael attacks this offensive rebound. He'll move Miller around, and then as the shot goes up, watch as he goes after it, goes up and puts it right back in. He attacked that rebound, Doug, like it was a hungry, like he was starving for that basketball. Michael Jordan has come out with the type of energy and emotion that Phil Jackson wanted to see in Game 5.
I I would say that was a pretty determined effort.
That was Smith's first point, but he got the assists on the first 2 Pacer baskets.
See, now 3 key players to start this game for Indiana are Mark Jackson, who has a field goal, Dale Davis, who has a dunk, and Rick Smith, who has 2 free throws. So if you're Larry Bird, you have to be happy with your start.
Mullen on Pippen. Michael with his back to the basket, guarded by Miller. Spins into the lane and misses the jumper. The rebound to Smits. His outlet is to Jackson. Dale Davis. Miller. On the run, scoops it up, and it rolls home for him. So Miller taking it to the hoop, as he rarely does. Here's Harper at the other end, and he's fouled. The Pacers have a lot of Game 7 experience. What they don't have is finals experience. Only little-used reserve Mark West has ever played in an NBA final. That was in '93 as a member of the Phoenix Suns.
Bob, one of the things I've seen here early by Indiana, I thought in Game 5 they came in expecting the Bulls to hit them hard. They got on their heels, never recovered. They've come in the aggressive attack mode in Game 7, which is very smart. Don't wait for the flurry. Don't wait to get behind. You be the attack man.
Harper misses them both, and Mullen takes the rebound. Jackson on the move. Behind a Davis screen, and now Miller. Smits. He hit 11 of 12 from the field in Game 6 and swishes his first one here.
You see Smits moving Longley around. He set the screen for Reggie Miller, which gave him inside position against Longley.
Kukoc with room. Rebound to Jackson. Dale Davis, stronger than Kukoc, trying to back him down, and Kukoc fouls it.
Now you watch, the screener who sets the pick always gets the shot. Look at the position that he was able to establish because he set the screen. He spinned off of Longley's body and shot the turnaround baseline J. But Rick Smits is effective screening, Doug, that frees him up inside so he can come out and have big nights.
Dale Davis misses the first free throw. He's shooting 50% with that miss from the free throw line in this series, but 73% from the floor. Misses them both.
Bob, remember now how crucial free throws are in big, tight playoff games. And Indiana in the playoffs has really been shooting them exceptionally well, other than Game 6.
And other than Dale Davis, a sub 50% free throw shooter for the year. Up and under by Jordan, but can't hit it off the glass. Now it's Jordan on Jackson as Mark brings it to the front court. Mullen lays it in, and Indiana hasn't missed from the field. 5 of 5. Now the Bulls throw it away. Pippen deflected it out of bounds. Still Indiana ball.
You know, on that last drive, Tony Kukoc went high side and Dale Davis sealed him, which let Mullins go to the baseline. They're so conscious of Dale Davis. And how long is Phil Jackson going to stay with Kukoc in this matchup against Davis?
Davis again, good again.
I think he's going to go right down to the bench right now. Phil's going to call a timeout. This is something he usually doesn't do. He has great confidence in his team, and he lets them play through these kind of moments.
Phil Jackson told us yesterday that if Dale Davis gets off to the kind of start he had in Game 6 at Market Square Arena, he will yank Tony Kukoc early and go to Rodman. It's the Pacers by 9. Dale Davis appears to be getting off to a big start. Just what Phil Jackson told us yesterday that he feared in Game 7.
I can't let Davis get 19 points or stand by and let Davis get 19 points in the post. A guy that, you know, might not score 19 in 3 or 4 games. I don't want to insult maybe 2 or 3 games. I mean, that's a grand total for him, especially when they're struggling. So we're going to have to do something about it. If Tony can't get a hold of him right away, I'm not going to stay long with that matchup.
He has left Kukoc in, at least for the time being. Davis is averaging just under 9 points a game in the playoffs overall. He has 2 baskets here, was fouled another time, and missed the 2 free throws. After the timeout, it's Jordan. Miller has the assignment on him. He gets around him and lays it in. No basket. No basket, says Hugh Evans. Foul before the shot.
Out of that timeout, you can see Chicago came with a screen roll off Smits, trying to get him involved. And Michael's so determined on this play. The foul before the shot.
Jordan slipping a bit, regaining his footing. The shot swatted away by Dale Davis, and cleanly. Michael recovers it.
This is what you don't want if you're Chicago. Michael expending so much energy early in this game trying to get his shot.
And Dick Pavetta stops play. Chris Mullen picks up his first. Kukoc to Pippen, and now Jordan. The crowd seemingly stunned, rather quiet at this stage. Good pass to Harper from Jordan.
See, I see Chicago being very tentative right now. Kukoc passed up 2 shots, and if he's going to be out on the floor, he must take those shots, or else Field must come with Dennis Rodman to supply defense.
Davis again, double team, so he gets it out to Jackson for 3.
There's that play we talk about, the importance of Mark Jackson making the open shot. He's at 2 jumpers now, with Scotty helping in the post.
And when you have to come and double team Dale Davis, you're into an area you don't want to be in. Longley can't control it. Mullen has it. Jackson pushes it up the floor, cut off by Harper.
Going right back inside to see if they get the double team once again.
Davis turns to face the hoop. It's Kukoc alone on him. Now Harper comes on the double. Davis hits the turnaround, and the Pacers lead by 12.
See, what Indiana has done is they've softened the Chicago Bulls up inside. Now when you come with the double team, that should free Mullen and Miller up to attack from the outside.
And Phil Jackson is looking for Dennis Rodman. He's not on the bench. I think he's riding the bike, so he'll be coming into the game.
Kukoc with a bad miss. Here comes Jackson back the other way. Jackson to the hoop. Slipped away from behind by Pippen, who fouled him. Now, the last time these 2 teams played here, Game 5 of this series, Indiana had that atrocious stretch in which they missed 18 consecutive field goals in the first half. They are 8 of 8 from the field so far in this one.
They're in a great rhythm, Bob. Everything they're doing right now, they're doing with precision. They're screening. When they throw the ball in the post, they're taking their time. If the double team presents itself, they're finding the open man. If not, that guy is pounding it in the post. They're playing a picture-perfect first quarter in a Game 7 on the road.
Doug, they're a very confident basketball team. You look at Mark Jackson's numbers in this series. Look at the turnovers in the 3 losses and the turnovers in the 3 wins. That's what Larry Bird wants from him. And this Indiana team has won 3 of the last 4 in this series right here. Chicago beat them the first 2, but Indiana has pretty much controlled Chicago since then.
Here comes Rodman. Back to the Chicago bench. He was back riding the bike to stay warm. They may need him any minute. Here's Pippen inside. Longley confronts him. Rather, Smits, I should say. And there's an Indiana foul.
Bob, what they're going to need from Dennis Rodman is this right here. An energy lift. Toughness, emotion. Remember Game 1? The Bulls were so flat. He came in off the bench, made tremendous hustle plays, and got this crowd into the game.
And he should be able to capitalize on the offensive boards, because every time they go to Pippen and Jordan in the low post, they're coming off of Longley. Smith is coming off of Longley to double team, which should free Rodman up for offensive rebounds.
Rodman in, Kukoc out. The foul on Smits was his first, and Pippen makes 1 of 2. Rodman got a piece of it right away, but couldn't quite control it.
And Bob, great balance right now for the Pacers. Everybody in the game has a field goal.
Jackson, Smits. Pippen got a hand on it. Longley picks it up. Here's a 2-on-1 break. Michael to Pippen, the travel. And that gets the crowd back into it. And Indiana immediately turns it over.
You know, the reason why they got that turnover is because they forced Jackson to pick his ball, to pick the dribble up early in the backcourt, which created a busted play.
Here's Michael trying to seize some momentum. Pippen fakes the three and drives. Contact and an Indiana foul.
A careless turnover from Rick Smits leads to this. A 2-on-1 fast break. Michael Jordan, and you get Scottie Pippen with the big slam. And then the careless inbounds play. Reggie Miller just took his eye off the ball and it goes out of bounds. Those are all momentum energy plays, and you cannot make those kind of mental errors in a game of this kind of magnitude. Now, Bob, with that said, Larry Bird is going to have to be very smart today using his timeouts. Anytime he feels a surge, he's going to have to stop it.
Antonio Davis comes in for the first time. Again, Pippen makes one of two. Mullins saves it in. Indiana's lead is 9. Antonio Davis pops the jumper, and it goes in and out. Longley has it. Jordan with Miller on it. They clear it out for him. The double team comes. He finds Harper, touch pass to Pippen for 3. Halfway down and it pops out. Longley. Pippen again on the drive. And a whistle. The foul on Antonio Davis is first. Folks, you can log on to msnbcsports.com as NBA Showtime extends its coverage to the internet. Click on video features and get the inside stories from NBC Sports commentators. Plus, check out Bill Walton's team-by-team preview of next month's NBA draft. It's all at msnbcsports.com.
It's very important. Scottie Pippen has missed a couple free throws early in this game. That starts playing on your mind. And if he's going to take that ball inside and get fouled, then he's going to have to convert it to free throw line, because we know Indiana is not going to give any layups.
And you see the fact that Dennis Rodman has had on this game already. As soon as he entered into the game, the energy in the building picked up, the energy of his teammates picked up. They started picking up full court. That's the effect of a Dennis Rodman. It's not necessarily his rebounding, but it's the intangible things that he brings to the game.
Pippen is bleeding, we're told, from somewhere. We can't see it from our vantage point.
You know what happened? He wears that little pad on his left arm, and he was cut on his right arm in that drive, and I saw him. He took the pad off, and he put it over on his right arm to cover it up.
Because he wanted to remain in the game.
Yes.
But temporarily he has to go out, and Kukoc comes back in. What was a 13-point Pacer lead a moment ago is now 7.
Now that's a big momentum stopper for Chicago, because now that puts Jordan on Jackson, and and Indiana now should be able to go inside to Davis.
They lose it. Kukoc to Jordan. Harper tripped and fouled. Two quick ones on Antonio Davis. Harper time walking to the line. A chance to make this a 5-point game.
Bob, in a game like this, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You're going to have your moments. Teams are going to make their little runs. You've got to keep your composure. Larry Bird told his team during a timeout, this is not a 5-minute game. This is a 48-minute game. We're going to have to play that way the entire night. So take these little surges and play through them with poise and patience.
1 of 2 for Harper, and here's Ahmad.
All right, Bob, Scotty did have a cut on his arm, and they had blood on his shorts. The reason he left the court was to go and change shorts, and he's now back and prepared to go back in. Bob?
Miller misses off the baseline. Antonio Davis gives them a fresh 24. And it's Davis with the left hand. The shot doesn't fall, but he was fouled.
That's a big foul because that's going to be 2 on Luke Longley. We know the presence of Longley inside. The Bulls get very small when they go to their bench. Now, who's Phil Jackson going to go to? Is he going to stay small with Kukoc and Rodman, or is he going to go with Winnington? It looks like he's going to bring Pippen in, stay with a smaller team, and either put Rodman or Kukoc on one of their bigger players, and they'll try to front them inside.
Meanwhile, Mullen has gone out for the Pacers, and Derek McKee, the veteran, wearing number 9, is in. We're also told that Mullen had blood on his jersey, although I guess it could have gotten there from brushing up against Scotty. Pacers by 8.
Chicago has a very fast team out on the floor, and what Indiana must do to negate that speed is to put a body on Kukoc, Rodman, and Jordan.
Here's Michael. It's McKee on him now. Miller comes over on the double team. Scotty with the floater.
I think they're going to have to make Pippen make a jump shot. They're running at him, and he's beating them and getting into the lane. Close out on him, make him hit a couple shots before you honor his drive that much.
And the Bulls have cut it to 6. Dale Davis against Kukoc once again. 3 seconds to shoot, and Miller slices through, takes the pass, and hits the reverse.
There's a great read by Reggie Miller coming from the weak side. He saw Davis was in trouble, came to a free spot so Davis could see him and make the pass.
Boy, Pippen really wants the ball inside against Miller.
And he gets it, but can't convert. Rodman has the follow pop out on him. Inside 2 minutes now in this first quarter, and Michael Jordan has only 2 points, and that came on a rebound and a putback.
Now you watch Scottie Pippen in the low post. As he gets it, he fakes, and he uses his speed to go around Miller with the extension right over Davis's fingertips. Now you watch Reggie Miller on the weak side. Always moving, always moving. Ron Harper turns his back, can't see him, gets out of his vision, makes the back cut for the layup.
Indiana's apparently going to make this Game 7 a memorable one. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Scottie Pippen has gotten off to a great start for Chicago. He's only taken really 1 perimeter jump shot, and you can see him rattle the 3 in and out. What he's doing is driving that ball to the basket. This was the first play of the game. He flipped the shot up there and missed it. But look at the aggressiveness on these drives to the basket. His shot chart, everything is in the paint. He's taken 2 shots outside and missed them. But more importantly, he shot 6 free throws. They must back off of him, Bob, and make him make a couple jump shots.
The Bulls as a team are 5 of 15 so far. Indiana 9 of 11. Miller fakes the 3 on Jordan. Bounces it into Dale Davis, working against Rodman. Now it's Jackson. Missing on the 3. He had hit one earlier. Trying to contend with Jordan. And Michael's jumper in the lane is short.
Bobby's only 1 for 5 now.
Jalen Rose in for the first time. Scott Burrell covering him, also making his first appearance. Davis over Kukoc. Not this time. Rodman has the rebound. Pippen stutter stepping on the run. Doesn't get the roll. Has his own rebound. Misses that one. One more try in a crowd and a foul.
Pippen's really struggling a little bit with his outside shot. You know, he said earlier this week that he just didn't feel comfortable, and you can see him trying to get to the basket, passing up the little 15-footer, then fighting it, not really having to touch around the goal, but he stays with it. You know, a lot of times you can get your rhythm by going to the free throw line, and that's what Scotty is trying to do, get his rhythm at the free throw line, so therefore it would translate into his outside jump shot.
The foul was on Derek McKee, his first. One of two. Pippen 5 of 8 at the line so far. Miller for 3. He felt it, caught it, tough turn the opposite way, and it was clean.
Right now, Bob, Reggie Miller's in a great shooting rhythm. He started out this game 3 for 4, and he was looking for that shot all the way.
10-point lead again. And Kukoc is fouled by Mark Jackson. 2 on Jackson.
This is a set play. Reggie Miller on a little zipper screen coming to the top. That's a tough catch. You're going away and you turn and you square. That's great footwork and a follow through in the shot. I think Indiana's going to have to start using a little bit better judgment here, Bob. They're so aggressive in this first quarter. They're fouling out on the floor right now and putting Chicago to the line, I think, needlessly. So maybe back off a little bit, play a little softer on the perimeter, or channel a little bit of that enthusiasm that you have right now.
Pacers have had 10 fouls called on them in this quarter, double the limit. Bulls, meanwhile, with 4 team fouls.
But see, I think Larry Bird will live with that because he wants his team to come out and be aggressive. And when they're aggressive, you know, they play much better. As you can see, they have the lead right now.
Looking to take it back to 10 before the first quarter ends. Miller, Rodman up on him. Pass in the lane to Davis. Little jumper, off. Loose ball, grabbed by Rodman. Heaves it at the horn. And after 1, the Pacers, who are up by 13 at one point, lead by 8. This is the NBA on NBC.
Indiana with an 8-point lead, and they've done it on the strength of what Isaiah said, going inside, finding gold in that paint. 5 of their 10 field goals in the painted area, 2 threes by Miller and Jackson to keep the floor nice and spaced. And points in the paint the last 2 games. You see in game 5, the Bulls plus 30. And then the great defense by the Pacers on the inside in game 6, only a 2-point differential. Big games are won in the paint.
Dick Harder off to the side of Larry Bird. There you see the veteran assistant. He designs Indiana's defense, one of the best in the league. Jalen Rose back in, along with Davis, McKee, both Davises, Antonio and Dale, and Travis Best for the first time as we begin the second quarter. Michael begins it on the bench for Chicago. Here's Steve Kerr in, guarding Best. Best went around him for the game-winning basket on Friday night at Market Square. Here's Rose cutting inside of Burrell and drawing the foul.
And what Jalen did was very smart right there. He took a look at the shot clock and didn't settle for the jump shot. Drove it to the basket with his right hand. Burrell cut him off, and then he spent back to his strong hand, which is his left hand.
Can't hit the first one. In the games they have won, he's made a major contribution each time. Not so in the 3 defeats. Of course, one of those 3 defeats, he was suspended and not in uniform, not even permitted to be in the building for game 5.
He's a tough matchup for Chicago. They really have no one that can guard him because Pippen is spending his time on Jackson and Best, and Jordan is spending his time on Miller. So that frees up Rose to kind of roam around.
And while nobody stops Michael, Rose does a pretty good job on him trying to contain him. Here's Kukoc, 5 on the 24. He lets it go and misses it badly. Rebound flat-footed to the 5'11 Travis Best. Here's McKee, left alone. The 20-footer spins out. And Pippen has the loose ball. He pulls up and takes a three. Misses it. Followed by Kukoc is there.
The Bulls, this is a very important time, Bob, right now. With Michael Jordan resting, they've got to stay close or close this gap a little bit. He needs a breather as hard as he worked in that first quarter. He played all 12 minutes.
Rodman on Antonio Davis, who puts it on the floor. 5 seconds to shoot. Travis Best got to create something against Kerr. Jumper over him. He was fouled, it appeared, or was it a 24-second violation? Shot clock violation. I thought he had actually beaten the clock and got it off in time.
What's happened to the last 3 possessions for Indiana, they've gotten very slow in their offense. Too much dribbling, not enough movement. The Bulls have locked in, forced a couple bad shots.
See, the way Chicago is going to have to cut into this lead is through transition and turnovers, or Steve Kerr is going to have to make an open shot.
Here is Kerr, foul before the shot. Kerr played 14 minutes in Game 6 and managed only 1 shot from the field, which he missed. He's averaging less than 3 points a game in this series.
See, with this group on the floor, Pippen pulls up and he takes a long J, but Kukoc is there to lay it in, and that's the way they must score against this lineup because they're very thin inside right now.
As the Bulls put it back in play, there's a nearly immediate whistle. Derek McKee hit with his second personal. Jordan's still a spectator with 10 minutes to play in the half, and his team down 7. Pippen against McKee. Double pump in the lane, and it comes up short. Scotty has now missed his last 5 shots. Dale Davis. Burrell trying his luck on him defensively. And play is stopped before he can make his move. 9 minutes and 32 seconds to play in the first half. Indiana by 7.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. Got to see that's how I dream to be. Boom, 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 boom.
I dream I move.
I dream I move like Mike.
If I could be like Mike. If I could be like.
What's up, Mike?
I'm not going to sing.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You either have it in you or you don't. Life is a sport. Drink it up. By Jeep, makers of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler. And by Gap.
Did you know, folks, that this year Goodyear is celebrating its 100th anniversary? And this is the view from Stars and Stripes, piloted by Richard Daniels.
Bob, you look at the field goal shooting to start this game. The Bulls are only 6 of 23, but they have 7 more shots because they have 8 to 3 on the offensive boards. Indiana's shooting 10 for 16, 63%. That's what I was talking about in the opening. They almost have to play a perfect game. With all this, they're only up 7 points right now.
Michael comes back in after sitting out the first 2:28 of this second quarter. Miller is for the moment on the Pacer bench. Antonio Davis against Rodman. Jumper over it. Won't go. And Dennis clutches the rebound. Kukoc out to Jordan. Puts it on the floor against McKee, and the fadeaway is good. Only his second field goal.
Well, you see the floor is spread out right now because of Butchler is in the basketball game. He's a good three-point shooter. You got Kerr in there, you got Kukoc, so therefore the penetration lanes are open for Jordan now.
Best open for three. In and out. Jordan back the other way. It's Kerr. His three is there. The all-time career leader in three-point accuracy has been having a very quiet series, but a big bucket there that brings them to within 2 after they had trailed by 13. Antonio Davis surrounded, and his pass picked off by Kerr. Here comes the crowd, and here come the Bulls. Looking to tie. Michael missed it. And it's out of bounds to the Bulls.
The Pacers offensively are standing around right now. They're trying to take advantages of mismatches. There's no movement in their offense right now. And the Bulls are giving help and getting back, getting into the passing lanes. And then now running out. Steve Kerr with a big three there to help his team. More importantly, to help his confidence.
So with that, they bring Smits back in. Jordan splits the defense and ties the game. And now the Bulls look to take the lead. Kerr around the screen set by Longley. Dumps it off to Rodman, who'll be coming to the free throw line.
Now you ask why the floor is so spread right now, because they have shooters. Look at the spacing. Look at the driving lane. There's no one there to impede his progress. Now Michael knows that he has shooters out on the floor right now. Penetrates, drops it to Kerr for the three.
Meanwhile, the last foul was on Antonio Davis, which is his third.
Now you watch Jordan inside. The double team is late. Why? Because now there's shooters out on the floor, which allows Jordan enough time to operate inside.
Rodman can't hit either free throw. Jordan, by the way, has passed Kareem on the all-time playoff scoring list. He's number 1 now. Rose. A seemingly fearless player, even at the height of playoff pressure. Michael hooked away from behind and out of bounds. The Bulls retain it. But first a timeout with 6:56 to play in the first half. That confirms what we told you a moment ago. Michael Jordan is now the all-time leading postseason scorer.
Well, Bob, after a slow first quarter for Michael Jordan where he's working so hard, he comes back in after a rest, and he's got his legs now. The nice drive and the shot over McKee, the fast break pass out to Steve Kerr, and then with all the shooters on the floor, the hesitance to double team and the layup. Michael Jordan comes in after a rest, a 7-2 run by the Bulls to get them back in this game. They trail now by only 2 points.
Hugh Evans hands it to Michael. Into the lane he goes. Ball knocked loose. He recovers, forces up the shot as a whistle blows, and he'll come to the free throw line. We know the NBA Finals will start on Wednesday at the Delta Center. Will it be the Pacers or the Bulls? As the opponent for Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jerry Sloan, and the Jazz. A rematch? Or for the first time, will a former ABA team make it as far as the NBA Finals? The Nuggets, the Spurs, the Nets, and the Pacers, the 4 teams that came in with the merger in the mid-70s, all have had stretches of success, but they have never, none of them, reached the NBA Finals. Smits reaches the bench after being yanked with his third foul.
The importance of that Pacer bench. Michael Jordan, nobody blocks him out. The best player in the NBA. He follows his shot up and gets the three-point play the hard way. The Pacer bench today, so vital in their success, only 1 of 5.
And after trailing by 13, the Bulls now lead by 1. Best into the lane and hold on. There's a Chicago foul this time.
Now, Isaiah, you know, when a guy shoots a free throw, somebody's supposed to block him out. The Pacers, nobody blocks him out. You see Best and Miller in no man's land. Somebody's got to block out Michael Jordan. You give him an easy one.
Yeah, and with Smits on the bench right now and Antonio Davis, he has 3 fouls also, so they have to come with a smaller McKee. Look for Indiana right now to try to get Miller off with some easy baskets off screens.
Foul on Rodman was his first. Best to the hoop. Chicago doesn't have anybody quick enough, really, to contend with him. He's like a water bug out there.
You can see Larry Bird's philosophy. Our bench might not be performing well right now, but we think in the end it's going to help us win by being fresh.
Jordan. No look pass to Longley, and getting a piece of it was Dale Davis. Bushler comes up with it for Chicago. Davis's second block of this first half. And an offensive foul against the Bulls.
Yeah, they called Jordan underneath. He threw Reggie Miller away. He went to make a cut, and then he grabbed him and just shoved him out of the way. You watch him go up to fake a cut, and as he goes to fake the cut, he just throws Miller out of the way.
And Jordan picks up his first.
And Miller is very good at feeling pressure and reacting and forcing the official to call a foul.
Best was fouled as he released the pass.
Isaiah, the last possession, Chicago took a shot, and I looked up, and Jalen Rose was leaking out to the half-court line, as was Reggie Miller. All 5 Bulls were on the board. You got to have 5 guys rebounding. The Bulls are getting second shots. You can't worry about running right now.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to win on the road. You got to pick up all the loose balls.
Best misses, and the rebound comes to Bushler. Foul a moment ago was Kerr's first. Kerr from Michael. Gets his own rebound and is belted by Best.
You know, Bushler hasn't scored a basket in this game. However, his energy on defense and offense has uplifted this Chicago Bulls team. So I was reading an article about Jud Bushler yesterday where he hasn't played in 2 months, and he just said, I hope Field turns to me on the bench and give me some action because I think I can help this team.
Foul on Best was his second. Kerr, nearly automatic from the free throw line, hits the first. Scotty comes back in, and Longley departs. Them both.
See, I like what Phil Jackson has done. He's bought time from his bench. He didn't look to him in the first 5 or 6 games, but now he's bought time.
Best misses a 3, and Bushler has the rebound. Jordan to the hoop, then dishes it out to Pippen. Cross-court Kerr, open 3, got it! A 17-point swing since the first quarter. Chicago by 4. McKee spinning around Pippen. Nice move. No basket. Foul before the shot, says Dick Bavetta.
Now you watch Dennis Rodman, who sets an open court screen on Reggie Miller so Jordan can drive off. He nails Miller. Miller falls down, is slow getting up, and they swing across court to Kerr, and he's wide open for the J. Miller is late in getting back, and he nails the 3.
McKee can't nail the free throw.
The Pacers have been so concerned all series long with giving Steve Kerr nothing. And today he's hit 2 big threes and gotten to the free throw line. And 8 big points off the bench now for Steve Kerr.
Michael in the lane. The Bulls by 5. And Jordan into double figures with 11.
See, everything's open right now. The cuts are crisper. The passes are short and quick and tight, which allows Jordan room to move.
Jordan up on Reggie. Working on him. Shooting it against him and getting the roll, but an offensive foul perhaps. They take the basket away. The Pacers thought they might have gotten a three-point play if the call had gone against Jordan, but no.
You see Miller trying to draw the foul. Jordan is on him like a wet blanket. And Miller jumps right into him, creates the contact, and Dick Bavetta is right there to call the offensive foul.
And Jordan is pushed.
So you watch Jordan right here. What the rest has done for him, as Doug pointed out, is that the bench has come in and allowed him to get his legs back. You see the floor is so spread out now because they have shooters. So all you need is an easy pick inside, and now he's only going against 2 defenders inside. If Dale Davis comes to help, he can dump it off to Rodman.
You know, I think what also has happened, Isaiah, is that what Ahmad talked about before the game, Michael was saying, who's going to come through and play for us today? And I think what Steve Kerr has done off the bench and some of these bench players has given Michael a better feeling of what's going on today.
Judd Bushler, too. The foul on Jalen Rose of the Pacers was his first. Both teams are over the limit.
And when you're the leader of your team in a Game 7 situation and you stand up and say, hey, we're going to win this game, that takes the pressure off of everyone on the bench and allows them to have confidence to come out and perform.
Jalen Rose against Bushler. Pippen comes over to help, and Rose is denied. Jordan only 2 points in the first quarter, 11 here in the second. And Pippen travels as the Pacers get the ball back. Chris Mullen, after a long stretch on the bench, is going to come back in for Indiana. Not until the next whistle. Here comes Jackson. Lobs it up there for Davis, and Rodman breaks it up. But Jackson is there to grab the loose ball. Miller all alone for 3. And it misfires. Harper, Scotty to the basket. Loose ball chased down by Jackson. Slings it cross court to Miller. And Dale Davis couldn't latch onto the pass. But apparently Bushler touched it, and Indiana will have it when we come back. From Hannah Storm to Michael Jordan as we listen in on the Chicago bench.
All right. You just got to be aggressive. You got to keep going at him. Hey, there's 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in the quarter. Finish quarter strong. Come on, let's go.
Bob, I'm ready to play. Put me in. Michael Jordan with great leadership there, and all one-on-one for Indiana this entire quarter. They're 4 of the last 17. They've only scored 6 points, and the Bulls are feasting on them right now defensively.
The reason why that is, Doug, they have no inside presence. They're trying to establish it right now with McKee.
Rodman will be nailed with a goaltending call, but he got it out of there pretty emphatically, didn't he?
Yes, he did. You see, with Davis and Smits for the Pacers in foul trouble, you see there's no inside presence now of someone there that can score. So therefore, Chicago's speed is able to take over, and they have 10 offensive rebounds to Indiana's 1.
Jordan putting the moves on McKee and putting the ball in the basket.
Big time right here for the Pacers. A little over 2 minutes to go. The Bulls up 7. You know that they'd love to push this to double digits by half and send them in on a downer.
Miller on the move and fouled by Harper. After hitting their first 8 from the field, Indiana's gone cold.
Michael Jordan got off to such a slow start. He comes back in the second quarter. The rhythm is back, the bounce in his step. It's given his team such an emotional lift in this quarter.
After he was hit with the foul, not Michael Jordan, but Ron Harper picks up a technical. Michael's expression is one of annoyance directed at his teammate. Not now, don't give him a free point. Mullen steps up, switches the free throw on the tee. And here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. When we came out of that last timeout, you saw that conversation on the bench. Michael started getting animated, telling the team, come on, let's go, let's finish up this next quarter. Well, in the first quarter, there was no conversation whatsoever. So as you can see things changing, I think it's all on the shoulders of Michael Jordan to get his team involved emotionally. Bob?
Thanks, Ahmad. Indiana picks up 3 points at the free throw line. 1 by Mullen, 2 by Miller. And they're back to within 4. Jordan. McKee on him. Mullen on the double team.
See, without Steve Kerr in the game, they could double team, and they don't have an extra shooter out on the floor.
Pippen's 3 is off. Harper has it knocked away. Rodman recovers it and goes to the hoop.
Bob, remember in Game 6, the Bulls were down 10 right before the half, and they closed to within 3. Let's see if the Pacers can do the same.
Dale Davis against Rodman, tries to muscle it up. Jordan came over to help, and Davis was fouled.
Now, the two players who are responsible right now for this rush of energy and emotion is Rodman and Judd Buechler. You look at Buechler, knock the ball away from Rodman, from Jackson. Rodman is right there for the easy layup. Energy and emotion, as Ahmad talked about, what Jordan wanted in the huddle, Rodman and Buechler has come out and given him that.
Rodman hit with his second foul. But Davis isn't even close on his first free throw. Buechler goes out to a round of applause from the Chicago fans. He really did a job while he was in there. And Kukoc comes back in.
And has no points to show for it. Those intangible things you do to help your team win, Bob.
It's what's known as playing a good floor game. 1 of 2 for Davis. Bulls by 5. Jordan with McKee on him. Michael into the lane. The follow. That doesn't drop, but then Pippen is there finally for the tip.
Indiana has got to get on the boards. When we talked about in our open the offensive rebounds, the Bulls were 24-9 in Game 6 and lost. Today, that is the difference in the game right now because it's giving them multiple shots even when they're not shooting well.
The ball is kicked out, and the Pacers will have it.
So you see Larry Bird sitting there, and he's just trying to weather the storm because he knows that with no Antonio Davis and no Rick Smits, they really have no inside presence, and he's just trying to hang on right now.
Jordan's on Jackson. Miller, contact with Burrell, no call. Reggie fires and hits the 3.
That was a huge no call because Reggie loves that move where he turns and tries to sweep the ball through you. That's a 3-point play. Cuts the lead to 4.
Jordan on the move. Left hand. No. Rodman has it. Jordan can't hold on. Pacers will have a chance now as the game clock barely overlaps the shot clock to cut this to 2 or maybe 1 if they hit a 3. Reggie for 3 again. Good again. A 1-point game. Just under 10 seconds.
I'm running at Michael Jordan right now. Get it out of his hands.
Michael against McKee. Finds Burrell, and Burrell with a huge hoop that beats the horn. Jordan and Burrell are both arguing. Jordan talking about a previous possession where he thought he was fouled. Burrell thought he might have gotten a 3-point play on that last hoop.
You see, Doug, you talked about going to double Jordan, but he's so smart, and he sees the floor so well. You see Burrell goes up, hesitates, takes the double pump, and the hit from Dale Davis, but they don't call a foul. And you see Michael Jordan going right at Hugh Evans, wanting a foul. He said, hey, I was going up, and he knocked it out of my hands. That was a foul.
Whether it's Hugh Hollins or Hugh Evans, no matter the hue, the Bulls apparently are seeing red. Their lead is cut to 3. Stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report coming up after these messages. You're watching the NBA on NBC. And Isaiah Thomas, Bob Costas at the United Center. Now, since 1982, when the Sixers won a Game 7 at Boston, home teams are 24-2 in Game 7s in the playoffs. But the Pacers are determined to make a game of this. They led by 13 at one point. Then after falling behind, they close it to 3 at the half.
Bob, Dennis Rodman, a real key, came off the bench. The Bulls were down 20-8. This crowd was out of the game. He gave them a huge lift. The Bulls outscored them 40-25 with him on the floor. I thought he was the difference.
Zeke.
And when the Pacers lost Rick Smits and Dale Davis, when they went out of the lineup with foul trouble, it really hurt the Pacers inside. Smits must establish himself and get back involved in this basketball game.
Which brings us to the Miller Lite halftime stats.
Well, the real trend that jumps out of you for the Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller off to a great start. You see he's 4 for 7, 3 of 3, 15 points. But for Chicago, look at the offensive rebounding, 15-1. That led to 15-1 second chance points. But more importantly, Bob, the Bulls shot only 38%, but because they got 14 more field goal attempts and 6 more free throw attempts, they're leading this game.
And when you look at the Pacers, Reggie Miller has brought his A game tonight, stepped up with 15 big points. But the guy that you didn't see up there was Rick Smits. You look at Reggie Miller's shot chart. He's 5 of 7 from the field, even has 2 layups. That's difficult for Reggie Miller to get into the lane. Now, Michael Jordan started slow, but finished strong with 15 points. But the 2 people that you don't see up there is Jud Buechler and Dennis Rodman, who allowed Michael Jordan to go inside and get those 4 easy field goals.
The 2 road teams that have managed to win a Game 7 in the playoffs since 1982 both did it in 1995. Houston at Phoenix, and Indiana was the other at New York.
Ahmad Rashad back at the United Center with the Bulls lead it by 3. Phil Jackson told his team defensively they got to do a better job controlling the big men, especially Dale Davis, who's hurting him. Also, Reggie Miller getting too wide open coming off screens. On the offensive end, they said Reggie Miller has 3 fouls. What they want to do is post him up and go right at him. Now for the Indiana story, let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Larry Bird told his team they're very fortunate to be down by only 3 points. Very unhappy with the offensive rebounding, 15-1. Said 24 points coming in the paint against us on the defensive end is just unacceptable for the second half. He wants to keep Rick Smits and Antonio Davis in the game aggressively without picking up fouls. And finally, Mark Jackson gathered the group together and said, hey, guys, we're going to win this game. Bob?
They start the second half with the ball, Jim, and it's Mullen bringing it out of the backcourt against the defense of Jordan. Puts it behind his back on it. Into the lane for Miller, and Reggie Miller with a little flip move brings the Pacers back to within 1. Jordan with Miller on it. Now around Smits. It comes up short. He gets his own rebound. He tries again, and this time gets the result he's looking for. Jordan has 17.
That's a bad sign. Your coach talks to you about the importance of rebounding. You come out and give up a second shot on your first possession.
Miller has 17 for Indiana. He lobs it to Smits. Smits finds Dale Davis. And there's a Chicago foul.
Well, Michael Jordan's going to spin in the lane, and you get people giving help, and you lose track of blockouts. But Isaiah said before, your guards must come back and rebound. One of the things with the Pistons, you and Vinny and Joe rebounded. You came back, and that helps your big people to be a good rebounding team.
Jordan picks up his second foul, but if you're going to foul somebody, it might as well be Dale Davis, who with that miss is 1 of 5 at the stripe tonight.
And Doug, what Indiana has to be very conscious of right here is they must stay in the game the third quarter, because Chicago has dominated this series in the third quarter, outscoring Indiana 157 to 130 points thus far.
Davis doesn't make Chicago pay. Mullen collides with Kukoc. They let the contact go. Harper on the move, stumbling a bit. Kukoc hits from the head of the key.
Well, Rick Smith almost picked up his 4th personal foul against Ron Harper. That would have been deadly right there.
Mullen out top. Jordan's on him. Deals it out to Jackson. 5 on the 24. Smith's double team. Jackson will take a 3, and he'll put it down.
Now, Jackson lined that 3 up before he took it. He had picked up his dribble, wasn't able to get it off. Then he got a second look at it, lined it up, and knocked it down.
2-point game. Kukoc again. Good again. On Pippen. The floater won't go. Hit the back rim. Longley gets inside Smith, and Mullen trying to help fouls him. On the left, Commissioner David Stern and his wife Diane. And to the right, Rod Thorne, the guy who metes out the discipline in the NBA. Russ Granick, David Stern's top deputy, was immediately in front of Rod Thorne. There is Granick, who has some difficult days ahead, trying to hammer out a new labor agreement.
Luke Longley had been 14 for 14 in this series. That's his first miss at the free throw line.
Gets the second one.
Now, if you notice what Scottie Pippen is doing, he's taking a quick look over his shoulder to see where Reggie Miller is at, because he's trying to force Jackson away from Reggie Miller.
Reggie to Mullen. Mullen into the lane. And got the roll. So Mullen, who had given them virtually nothing since game 2 offensively, has 5 points so far.
It was a nice curl by Mullins off the screen. He doesn't have the foot speed, but he was able to get Pippen on his hip and able to extend away from him so Pippen couldn't block the shot.
Kukoc, 3 in a row, and that was a 3.
Great start here in the 3rd quarter. With Rodman coming off the bench, now Kukoc with a great 3rd quarter, 7 quick points.
Mullen has room and has the hoop. Longley screening for Jordan. Harper into the lane. A little hook that rolls around and spills out. Hanging tantalizingly on the lip like a putt that won't drop. Miller, another 3. Got it again.
What a great screen, though, by Smith. Scottie tried to get up to the inside. Smith adjusted his position. Reggie's getting a lot of open shots today.
Now, you may ask why Mullen and Miller are wide open right now. That's because Smith and Davis are in the game.
Pippen was surrounded and fouled. The foul is on Mullen.
I think what you're seeing also here in this quarter is more movement. Reggie Miller off the basketball. They're screening. They're moving. In that 2nd quarter, they got stagnant. They started playing one-on-one basketball.
Jordan deals it out to Harper. Kukoc feeling it. And why not? His 2nd consecutive 3. His 4th straight field goal of this quarter.
The Kukoc wanted that ball earlier. He was screaming at Harper, give it to me, because he was standing open in the corner.
Jackson into the lane. Jackson to the hoop. Won't fall for him. But there's the rare Indiana offensive rebound by Dale Davis. And he's fouled, which is a mixed blessing because Davis hasn't been able to do much with his free throws. If, in fact, that was an active shooting foul, which it may not have been, they may inbound from the side. Longley hit with his 3rd. Miller with the left hand. Doesn't get the bounce this time. Here comes Kukoc, who's been all over this third period, that time with a rebound. Jordan sees Mullen on him, immediately drives to the hoop. Smits comes over with the help. No foul call. Jordan gets it back, and now they blow the whistle. Mark Jackson picks up the personal, and we step aside for just a moment.
Miller Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
It's been all Tony Kukoc in the third quarter for the Bulls. A little jump shot at the top of the circle. Spots out and hits the open three-point shot. Swings it to the other side for the three. And he's now go to the corner and get a three. 10 of the 13 points scored by Tony Kukoc in this quarter.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
Bob, he becomes so vital to their attack. When he scores, he just frees up so many other things because now you can't focus so much on Michael Jordan.
Dennis Rodman has been riding the bike down in the tunnel. He'll be back soon, we would guess. But not for Kukoc as long as he stays this high. Here's Pippen with the fadeaway. And Scottie Pippen nails it.
Remember at the top of the game we said Michael Jordan can't win this game by himself. He needs help. Well, he's getting a lot of help today.
17 from Kukoc and 13 from Pippen. Miller on the drive, and a foul is called. It'll be Indiana ball from the side, giving us a chance to check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, Larry Bird during that timeout told his guys, you're right there on the cusp. Keep playing at this pace. He's very pleased with the effort. Likes the offense now where guys are setting screens, creating open shots. Defensively, he says they won't continue to hit at this pace. Bob?
The foul on Harper was his second. Miller lobs for Smits, who's been rather quiet. Draws a double team, and Pippen, reaching in, picks up the foul. It's his third.
So they got to get Smits involved right here. He's only taken 2 shots in this game, so they're trying to get him in the low post. You see Scottie Pippen come with the late double team, reaches in and gets called for the foul.
Mullen, head of the key, pops it. Loose ball battle, Longley claims it. Jordan, Smits takes him on a switch. No matter, he shoots it anyway but misses. Mullen out to Jackson. Miller returns it to Mark Jackson, who's guarded by Pippen. Smits against Longley. When Pippen comes over, Jackson is open, but fires it long, and Jordan is there to collect the carom. No look pass to Kukoc. Davis got up on him, denying him the shot opportunity. Here's Pippen. Mullen pokes it away and out of bounds with 9 on the shot clock.
Luke Longley has been terrific in this game. He's pushed Smits off the block. You're not seeing the deep post position he got in Game 6. He's working so hard bouncing that ball. He's getting no rhythm.
See, what they did in Game 6 that was effective, Doug, is they kept Smits on the move coming off the screens.
Kukoc with the head fake. Cross court to Harper. His jumper. Spins out. Loose ball battle. It comes to Jackson. Mullen with a good look, but can't hit the three. Jordan now says, let's slow it down a little bit. They move inside 5 minutes. Michael double teamed, returns it to Scottie. Now it's Kukoc into the lane and to the hoop, and he's fouled. Rodman's going to check in. Let's see for who. Kukoc has free throws to shoot. Harper is the guy who's pulled from the lineup as Rodman comes in.
See, the Bulls have really gone big on the perimeter now. Kukoc actually playing at a guard with Scottie and Michael.
Kukoc cans the first one. Next weekend, coverage of the French Open from Roland Garros continues on NBC. Friday, coverage begins at 10 Eastern, 9 Pacific. That's correct. 10 Eastern, 9 Pacific with the men's semifinals. Then next Saturday at 3 Eastern, it's the women's final. Next Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, the men's final. Then the French Open beginning Friday and continuing through Saturday and Sunday on NBC. Dick Bavetta whistles play to a halt after Smith sat down with his 4th foul, and now Pippen picks up his 4th.
The ball pressure today by Scottie Pippen is very reminiscent of the games 1 and 2. He's really working up the floor on Mark Jackson, making him use a lot of clock. And Bob, what you're seeing is he's trying to find out, Scottie Pippen, where Reggie Miller's coming off the screen and pushing Mark Jackson to the other side of the floor so he can't deliver him the ball.
And you notice, Doug, when Scottie Pippen pressures Mark Jackson like that defensively, it usually struggles offensively. So let's make sure we take a look at that to see how Pippen plays down the stretch, to see if he's worn down any.
Jackson got them both. Pippen with Jackson on it. Scottie's jumper, no good. And the rebound grabbed by Antonio Davis. Jackson got it back from Miller. The floater is short. Antonio Davis crashing the boards. The ball out of bounds to Chicago.
See, Luke Longley read Mark Jackson. He knows he likes to throw the floater to Davis coming over for the dunk. Luke Longley gave him the pump fake, gave him the up fake, made Jackson hesitate and shoot it short.
Kukoc has it knocked away and stolen by Miller. Footbridge, Jordan Reggie is fouled by Michael, who reacts with a disgusted display, thrusting both arms into the air.
See, I think that time the foot speed of Michael Jordan caught Reggie Miller, and he just threw him off balance a little bit. He took a swipe at the ball, but I don't think he touched anything. He cut his feet, so he really couldn't extend and get up. So I think that was a smart play by Jordan.
Just so the Jordan fans hold those cards and letters, I said it was a display of disgust, not a disgusting display.
You see what he did right there? He just took the feet out from under Reggie Miller so he couldn't plant or jump.
Now, with Kukoc's great shooting in this 3rd quarter, it's still a 3-point game. That's where we were at halftime. That's what Larry Bird is trying to continually tell his team. We're still in there.
Michael poked away on a foul. Now Mullen has 4 fouls. Penalty in effect for both teams.
See, Jordan recognized that time that the next foul would get them in a penalty, and he wasn't going to give that basketball up. He's going to take it in and force someone to foul him.
The free throw is his 18th point. Reggie Miller leads everyone with 22. Just as it was difficult, Pippen going out and Harper coming back in, to imagine the Pacers winning Game 6 with so little from Reggie Miller, and somehow they did it. How are they going to win Game 7 with Rick Smits giving them next to nothing offensively? Jordan misses the second one.
See, Rick Smits in this series has only given them 10 points on the road, and at home he's given them 21.
Offensive foul on Antonio Davis. He moved on the screen as Ron Harper shot through the top. Now what you're seeing, Phil Jackson, here is Scottie Pippen has 4 fouls. He's giving him a rest. He's coming with Harper. What he'd like to do is then Michael finish out the quarter, bring Scottie in for him, and let him get a rest.
That's number 4 on Antonio Davis. Lots of guys moving toward trouble as the 4th quarter approaches. Jordan double teamed by Mullen and Miller and took too many steps.
See, every time Jordan gets the ball in the low post, Indiana is running a defender at him from the top, forcing Jordan to have to read the double team.
They can get away with Harper out there, but not with Steve Kerr.
Reggie, Harper up on it. Fades away from him and misses the three. He was determined to do something on that possession. Here is Jordan. To Kukoc, who's been on fire and stays that way. 21 for Kukoc. And it's back up to 7. Miller's pass squirts through Mullen's hands. And the Bulls have it back. Jordan trying to split the defense, and there's an Indiana foul.
It's important for Chicago to get some cushion so you can rest Michael Jordan. Michael has great confidence in Tony. He's come through in this quarter, hitting big shot after big shot. And this is what you have to do to defend your championship.
2 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in a third quarter that has belonged to Tony Kukoc. 5 of 5, 14 points. Night falling over Chicago. The shot from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes provided by pilot Richard Daniels, and we thank him and the folks at Goodyear.
Tony Kukoc has been so good today. Big third quarter. See 14 points, 21 for the game. And what he's done in this series, he got off to a slow start, only 2 for 11. But look at the series that's gone on, how he's picked up this play. Only 7 shots in game 6 and 10 points. We talked about on the opening how important it was going to be for Michael Jordan to get some help. Tony has been terrific in his third quarter.
Jordan sent to the line after Dale Davis's second foul, and a second consecutive free throw miss for Michael.
You can see the top 3 scorers for Chicago, what they've done today. The importance are Pippen and Kukoc. Look, they've combined for 34 points. And you know Michael now will be rested and ready for a strong finish if needed.
And Doug, he's done an excellent job of passing out of the double teams. He's been double teamed in the low post 11 times, and each time he's made Indiana pay.
Best is on the floor for Indiana. Kerr is guarding him for Chicago. Last 2 minutes of the third quarter now. 5 on the shot clock. Got to do something and got to do it quick. 3 seconds to shoot. Miller on the run. Rebound out of bounds. Rodman upset that he couldn't control it. And the Pacers will have another crack at it.
It's a very important time now. Indiana can't let this get away. Travis Best is getting caught with his dribble. Too much time being burned up off the clock. He's got to attack.
Miller driving on Harper. Kukoc cuts him off. Nice pass inside to Dale Davis, who's wrapped up by Rodman. That's Dennis's third. Next Saturday at 1 Eastern on NBC, Lisa Leslie, Dawn Staley, and college star Shamika Holdsclaw lead the USA at the Women's World Championships of Basketball in Berlin. That's next Saturday at 1 Eastern on NBC.
Doug, I've noticed in this series that one of the reasons why Travis Best dribbles the ball so much is that he has a hard time passing off the dribble. Mark Jackson can pass off the dribble. John Stockton can pass off the dribble. But when Best makes the pass, he's got to pick it up and pass it with 2 hands.
Dale Davis hits that one, making him 2 of 8 at the line tonight. Chicago by 7 in game 7. Jordan into the lane. Can't make it 9. Antonio Davis comes away with it. They've got a break if they push it. It's Best from Miller. And he lays it up and in, plus the foul. Tough hoop.
Well, Michael took it hard to the basket on one end. Some contact and no call. And Indiana's going to counter quickly on the other end of the floor. We watch Michael take it to the basket. The swarming defense. The Pacers come up with a loose ball. Reggie gets it to Travis Best, and we know he can finish. This is reminiscent of the finish of the third quarter he had the other night when they were down by 6 points, had a 7-0 finish to take a 1-point lead going into that fourth quarter of game 6.
He's been shooting 90+ from the free throw line in the playoffs, but missed that one, failing to complete the 3-point play. Bulls by 5. Kerr to Rodman. Looking for the cutters. It's Michael. Off the back iron. Rodman grabs the rebound, but there's a push. And Rodman now has 4 fouls.
They caught Rodman pushing Dale Davis in the back with 2 hands. As the shot went up, Rodman pushed Davis in the back, and the back official and Bavetta caught it underneath.
They'll let you get away with the forearm, but when you take both hands and extend them, they see that, and that's an automatic foul.
Both teams over the limit, but again, it's the dreaded Davis at the line. Dreaded in this situation from Indiana's perspective. And that's why. Scottie Pippen comes back in. Michael Jordan for a breather with 58.5 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. If this game is close in the 4th quarter, can you keep Dale Davis in?
Well, I think you'll see Smits come back with Antonio Davis, but Rick Smits has been a non-factor. He's gotten in foul trouble, Bob, and they can't get him the ball in the low post where he can score.
But when you have a guy you know you can foul, that you willingly foul to send to the line, it's really a liability down the stretch. Kukoc deals it back out to Harper, who has trouble controlling it. 4 seconds to shoot. Pippen will. And Dale Davis has it.
Get a quick 2-for-1 here. We're going to call a set play and go for 1 shot. They love to have Reggie come off a double screen up here at the top and flare for a 3.
They can cut it to 2 or maybe 1 if they connect on a 3 here. It's Best driving on Kerr. Back out to Antonio Davis. 4 seconds to shoot. Does Best know that? McKee does, but it's short. Kukoc has it. 7 seconds to get off the quarter's final shot. Steve Kerr, long 3. And it comes up way short. The Bulls led by 3 at the half. They tack a point onto their lead in the 3rd quarter. Final 12 minutes of regulation coming. The Pacers and the Bulls separated by 4 points. We're back after this from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Ahmad Rashad back at the United Center. Now, the man that we're going to take a look at, his name is Gus Lett. He is Michael Jordan's confidant, his friend, and his father figure. Michael told me that since the passing of his father, Gus Lett has been the man that has stepped up into that role. Gus has been battling cancer, hasn't been out to come in games. But tonight he came, surprised Michael for a lift, and it's a lift for Michael just to see Gus here. And hopefully it will have something to do with the outcome of the way Michael plays in this game. But whatever happens in the game, we're all happy to see Gus here at the game. Bob?
Sure are, Ahmad. The 4th quarter begins with Michael Jordan still on the Chicago bench. They'll open with Longley, Kerr, Pippen, Bushler, who contributed 4 rebounds in 8 minutes in a big 2nd quarter stint, and Rodman. Smits, Jalen Rose, Antonio Davis, Derek McKee, and Travis Best on the floor for Larry Bird. So Reggie Miller is on the bench as the 4th quarter begins. But not for long, you can bet. Longley pops out, gets the pass, misses the jumper. Antonio Davis picks it up. Pacers down by only 4. Without Tony Kukoc, where would the Bulls have been in that 3rd quarter? McKee has it knocked away by Pippen, and Scottie eventually comes up with it. Went for the steal and got a piece of it, knocking it away from Kerr and into the hands of Antonio Davis.
Now remember, this unit got very stationary in the 2nd quarter, start posting up, got themselves in trouble. They got to move the ball.
They get it inside to Antonio Davis, and he's fouled.
It's going to be a 1-shot foul. He was not in the act of shooting, so the Pacers will take the ball.
1 shot as in no shots in this situation.
Yes, he will take the ball sideline out of bounds. He was not in the act of shooting.
Now, Larry Bird is comfortable with the position that he's in right now because Indiana has dominated the 4th quarter in this series thus far.
That's 5 on Rodman. He's got 5. Pippen has 4. Mullins, Smits, and Antonio Davis all have 4 for the Pacers.
You see Davis trying to establish low post position on the box, and they call a foul on Rodman. A lot of contact right there. Jordan's a little disappointed in that. Knows that Rodman has picked up his 5th foul, and the Davis boys have been punishing whoever is on them right now, with Dickie Simpkins is guarding Antonio Davis right now.
Simpkins making an appearance in the 4th quarter of a close game 7. Not what Phil Jackson had in mind. Rose, double pumps, hits, +1.
Be interesting to see how long Phil Jackson stays with this lineup. You've got Scottie Pippen on the floor with Longley, Bushler, Simpkins, and Kerr. Not much offense. You want to buy some time now for Michael Jordan, but you don't want to lose the lead that you've worked so hard to build up.
See, this is where Chicago misses a Jason Caffey. He would come in right now, give him some energy. He can bang bodies. Now they have to go to a Dickie Simpkins.
No three-point play as Rose's free throw is long.
A lot of missed free throws here, Bob. That's 17 for 29 now for the Pacers. They've been shooting 75% in this series.
Kerr with Bushler screening for him. Now Judd has it up top. Scottie Pippen. Back out to Kerr for a good look. He misses it, though. Loose ball, fought for. Going to the floor is Antonio Davis, and the Pacers now can tie it. Bushler is on Rose. Around an Antonio Davis screen for the jump shot that evens the issue at 69. Chicago once led by as many as 8. In the first half, Indiana was up 13.
Who is going to score for the Bulls with this lineup?
Bushler, his first shot. He missed it. Simpkins diving to the loose ball along with Travis Best. And the foul is on Best of Indiana. For Travis, that's number 3. 9:27 left. Nothing nearly decided yet. We trust pilot Richard Daniels is enjoying this one from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, and why not? Tied at 69, 9:27 left in the 4th. The Indiana Pacers are trying to join a small group of teams that have managed to come back from 0-2 deficits and win a best-of-7 series. Houston, along the way to championships in 94 and 95, did it in consecutive years. The Pacers also trying to be one of the few teams, especially in recent years, to win a game 7 on the road. Longley, back to Jordan. Jordan spinning, twisting, looping one up there, no good. And finally a whistle stops play as the ball goes over to Indiana.
Today, Michael Jordan now 7 for 19 from the floor. Scottie Pippen 4 of 15. So the guy who's really kept him in this game offensively has been Tony Kukoc.
And what Michael Jordan is thinking right now, he knows that he only has one more energy burst. And when does he put it on? Did he put it on 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes?
Kerr fouled Best, and for Kerr, that's 3.
That's also 14 fouls, so the next one, the Pacers will be shooting the rest of the way. That could be an important stat as we close up this game.
And the Pacers have only 1 team foul with 9 minutes left. Smits backing in on Kukoc for the jumper. It rolls around and drops home, plus you can tack a foul onto it.
See, there's no resistance from Kukoc. Smits was able to get the ball back down, and as he spent into the lane, Kukoc reached in. You see him establish the position. Now he'll take 3 dribbles, get his feet together, and Kukoc reaches in, tries to slap down. Smits goes to the line for the possible 3-point play.
Which he completes. Indiana's on an 11-0 run, and they lead it now by 3. Jordan, meanwhile, has missed his last 5 shots. Longley looking for some help. It's Jordan. 6 in a row have gone awry for him. still on it.
The Kukoc is playing Smits. Drop that ball in the post and get out of his way.
They do, but this time he's not converted. Antonio Davis over the back of Luke Longley. And that's 5 on Antonio as we go to Jim Gray.
All right, Bob, during that last timeout, Larry Bird led his 2 assistants, Dick Harder and Rick Carlisle, talked the entire time. What Bird did is he drew eye contact with each guy who was going in the game, looked them each in the eye, said no words until the very end. He said, guys, this is what we're playing for. Bob?
Kukoc to Jordan. The Bulls playing for a 6th title. Pacers playing for a first ever trip to the finals. 7 misses in a row for Jordan, but not 8.
Offensive rebounds. You play the great initial defense. Remember what the first half was about, 15-1 on the offensive boards.
Now, can Jordan keep this energy burst going for the next 7 minutes? Because he decided to put it on right now.
Plus, he's got a guard, Miller, who swings it back to Smits. Driving on Kukoc. Contact, and the foul will go on Tony.
Michael working so hard in the post, he fades away. He doesn't get a shot. He sort of short-armed that one. Longley tips the ball to Michael. Then you see the strong effort to finish it up.
For the next 7 minutes and 37 seconds, the Pacers go to the line on any foul, including this one, with Smits shooting 2, trying to add to what is now a 1-point lead.
Bob, the interesting thing to me, the last 3 possessions, Tony Kukoc has been playing Rick Smits. Longley's been doing such a great job, and Longley's not in foul trouble. He only has 3 fouls.
And if the Pacers lose this game, they'll be able to go back and chart it right there at the free throw line.
They survived a lot of missed free throws in their Game 6 win. We'll see what happens tonight. Jordan to the hoop. He'll come to the foul line after an explosion to the basket. He can't do that as often as he once did. He can't do it throughout the game, but when he needs to, the explosion is there.
Bulls get Rick Smits involved in pick and roll. He can't jump out there to stop it. The Bulls know it. Look, he can't move his feet. He opens up, and he ushers Michael right to the basket for the dunk. So look for the Bulls now to get Rick Smits involved in as many plays as possible where he has to move his feet.
And see, Doug, the great players have an understanding of the game and where to pick their spots and how long they can sustain that rush.
Jordan with 24. The Bulls up by 1.
Longley back on Smits.
Smits shoots over him. And another chance for a 3-point play as Longley picks up his 4th foul.
So you watch Smits fighting Longley in the low post. He gets his balance and he takes the dribble, makes Longley move. Longley gets the elbow extended, pushes him off. Dick Bavetta is underneath, blows it, gives him the possible 3-point play.
Derek McKee in the game. Why is he in the game? A fresh defender on Michael Jordan.
Smits, a good free throw shooter, especially for such a big man.
See if they go back to get Rick Smits involved in the play here with either Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen, make him move his feet.
Clock winds down towards 7 minutes to play in the 4th. Ball out of bounds to Chicago. And the Bulls want to talk it over. They trail by 2 with 7 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Lots of ways to measure the pressure of a Game 7. Here's one of them. Both of these teams shooting 75% from the line through 6 games. Each has missed 13 free throws tonight. Now, admittedly, 10 of Indiana's free throws have been taken by Dale Davis, a poor free throw shooter under any circumstances. He's missed 7 of those 10. The Bulls look for the tying basket. Longley. Kerr for the lead. It isn't there. And a foul on Longley. as he tries to take the rebound away from Antonio Davis, and now Longley has 5.
This was a great set play the Bulls ran coming out of this timeout. They did it to set up Steve Kerr for a 3. It looked like he had an open look, but at the last moment, one of the Pacers closed in on him and got a hand up on his shot.
The big men for both teams are in foul trouble. Smits and Antonio Davis with 5. Rodman and Longley each with 5. The Pacers have only 3 team fouls. They have 1 more to give. But the Bulls are over the limit, and Antonio Davis hits the first one.
Now, Smits is in such an offensive groove right now that Indiana's going to keep going right back to him.
1 of 2. Pretty much consistent with the way these teams have been shooting free throws with everything on the line in Game 7. Jordan knocked away by McKee and cleanly. 3 Pacers surround Michael, and a jump ball is called.
You're in a Game 7. This ball goes loose on the floor. Every possession vital. You see the nice hands by McKee. Watch now the players go down on the floor. Michael trying to get it back. He's very fortunate he didn't hurt his right leg. You see him get bent underneath him there. How big is this jump ball right now? You get this jump ball, you got a chance to go up 5. With 6:30 to go.
Michael can really jump, but Smits is 7-4. Smits tipped it, but right to Pippen. Best up on Kerr. Michael, head fake on Smits. Into the lane against 3 defenders. Can't put it down. Loose ball tipped out to Pippen. Kerr can tie it.
A jump ball that you don't get.
Antonio Davis gives the Pacers the lead again.
I don't think you're going to see any flopping fouls in this last 6 minutes. The referees are going to make you earn it now. Game 7, nothing's going to be easy.
Well, that was a no call because Pippen was inside the dotted line area.
Jordan to the hoop. And an Indiana foul. Michael will have to hit them both for the Bulls to draw even.
Steve Kerr spotting up. He's been big today. This is his 11th point of the game. And that's a huge shot because you give up a jump ball and you also don't get an offensive rebound. And now the give and go, Tony Davis on the bank shot. And Zeke, a good call. He was in the dotted area.
Now, Doug, Jordan turned on the Jets. 8 minutes to go. And let's see if he has enough to continue down the stretch because he's really going hard and they're really putting a body on him.
Derek McKee committed his 3rd foul. Kukoc goes out. Rodman back in. These teams have played every other day now, dating back to Game 3 a week ago yesterday in Indianapolis. Now, both are veteran teams, but Indiana is deeper, and 2 of Indiana's key reserves, Rose and Best, are energetic young players. You have to believe that if fatigue hits anybody first, it would be Chicago. Tied at 79, 5.5 minutes to decide it. Utah awaits the winner.
Michael's guarding Reggie now. That's going to be more energy he's going to burn.
Best trying to drive on Kerr, pushed off of him for an offensive foul. And now Best has 4.
Yeah, see, Best was trying to turn that corner. Smits had his man sealed. Best was trying to turn the corner, and he used that forearm just to push Kerr off.
One of the things we've not seen in the last couple Pacer wins is Mark Jackson in the 4th quarter. It's been the Travis Best show. Today, Larry Bird is coming back with Mark Jackson, the more veteran player.
The veteran player, and he also poses the mismatch for Kerr because he can bag Kerr into the post.
Michael from Kukoc. Bounce pass to Longley. It won't go. Miller and Pippen battling, and Scotty comes away with it. Pippen. Chicago leads it, 81-79.
Can't give a championship team multiple shots on their home floor.
Derek McKee slides to the foul line. 10 on the shot clock. Looking for Smits, who goes to the floor to try to recover it, but his saving pass is stolen by Kukoc. Jordan taking it to the basket, taking a pounding. Players spilling all over the floor, and Jordan coming to the free throw line.
The offensive rebound by Scottie Pippen. Reggie Miller's got to come up with this ball. It's a critical play. And what does it lead to? It leads to Scottie Pippen off the little stagger screen and the open jump shot. You see now a jump ball that they didn't get, they get a 3 off of, and an offensive rebound. That's 5 points in a game like this. It gives them a 2-point lead.
With Mark Jackson back into the game, Doug, they're taking the ball out of his hands, forcing Derek McKee to handle the basketball.
Even Jordan isn't immune to the poor free throw shooting in this game. The foul on McKee was his 4th.
Bulls are thinking defense right now. They take Kukoc out and Kerr out. Their 2 best perimeter shooters, they come in with Rodman and Harper. Now what that means, Bob, is on the offensive end of the floor, you can give more help and make Harper make a shot.
Michael misses them both. 8 of 13 at the line. Is fatigue a factor?
Now, if you're Mark Jackson right now, you got to keep the dribble. You can't give up on your dribble.
Smits can't hit the hook. Longley protects the rebound.
There's a nice pass to Smits right off the dribble.
McKee draws the defensive assignment on Jordan. Smits coming over with help. 5 on the shot clock. Michael dumps it off to an open Longley. And the Bulls have a little bit of breathing room. Ahead by 4. McKee, and he travels. With 3:16 left, Bulls going for championship number 6, and with a 6th man, the crowd now on their side.
Championships are all about trust, trusting your teammate. When you get double teamed, you give the ball up, and you say, you got to help me. Michael Jordan spins, he finds Luke Longley. Luke hasn't been the man now shooting it, but he knocks it in, and Michael Jordan on his way back points and said, I'm going to need you, and all of you to help us win this game today.
And during the last timeout, still encouraging his teammates, still talking strategy. You remember how he gave it up and willingly, in fact, predicted it in the timeout. In the waning moments of Game 6 of the finals last year against the Jazz, gave it up to Steve Kerr for the championship-winning shot. Here's Kerr on the move. Longley trying to bounce it to Rodman, but Miller picks it off.
Now, Reggie Miller has to get involved right here.
Smits sandwiched by Pippen and Longley and fouled. Tonight on NBC's Dateline Sunday, a shipwreck leaves millions in gold lost for over a century. Can the man who dedicated his life searching for it find it? We'll find out later tonight on Dateline. That follows the game. Scottie Pippen just picked up his 5th. Pippen, Longley, Rodman, all with 5 fouls for Chicago.
Phil Jackson now coming back with his offensive team. He has Kukoc in for Rodman and Kerr. Both of those guys excellent 3-point shooters.
Doug Miller's got to get into this game. He hasn't taken a shot the 4th quarter. He's got to get involved.
He hasn't scored since 3 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. He's stuck on 22 points. Chicago lead. Michael Jordan. Every time he takes it to the hoop. Every time just about anyone does. They pay for it.
Michael Jordan's got the adage now, I'm not going to settle for this outside jump shot. I'm going to take it to the basket. And Indiana staying true to their philosophy. They're not going to give up any layups.
See, the great players understand their bodies and they understand their energy rush. Jordan's going to the basket right now, not necessarily looking to score, but to absorb the contact and go to the free throw line.
He increases the lead to 3. Each team has 3 men with 5 fouls. We mentioned Longley, Pippen, Rodman, Antonio Davis, Derek McKee after that last personal, and Rick Smits all with 5 for Indiana.
Rodman back in now for Kukoc, so you're going to see the offensive defensive substitution every time there's a dead ball in the last 2.5 minutes.
Michael gets them both. 28 points for Jordan. Jackson out of the backcourt. Harper with him. Jordan on Reggie. 10 on the shot clock. Jackson driving on Pippen. Dealing out to Miller. Big 3. Won't go. In fact, an air ball, but it looks like a perfect pass to Antonio Davis. Again, a 2-point game. Pippen driving. Throws up a little hook. It bounces home, plus a foul.
Reggie Miller right here got caught up on the screen, and he pushed Antonio Davis into a foul.
And Davis has fouled out. Serenaded by Ray Charles with Hit the Road Jack as he takes his seat.
See, he's upset right now because he knew he wasn't supposed to pick up that foul. Miller should have either slid under that screen or knocked Scotty off of it, but he pushed Antonio Davis into a switch that he really couldn't compete with Pippen's foot speed.
So now they have to bring Dale Davis back in. And keep in mind what a poor free throw shooter Dale Davis is. Pippen trying to take the lead to 5, which he cannot do. But Jordan out-battles 2 Pacers for the rebound. And now he'll take some time off the clock.
Michael's going to open the court here and attack.
Trapped along the sideline. Ball loose. 4 seconds to shoot. Pippen got to get it off. Beat the shot clock but missed it long. And the ball went over the top of the backboard as it caromed off the rim, and so the ball is given to the Pacers out of bounds.
See, Bob, what happened, though, that offensive rebound gave the Bulls 24 more seconds to burn up off the clock. They're going to run a curl and try to post Rick Smits.
They look for Smits, and Harper deflects it and comes up with the steal. Pippen looking inside. The Indiana defense in the half-court set is tough. 5 on the shot clock. Michael against McKee. Lets it go. And can't put the Pacers away, but the offensive rebound across the basket to Harper, which has been part of the story all night. The Bulls all over the offensive glass. 48 seconds from a rematch with the Jazz. But if the Pacers go here, they have not gone quietly. Jordan. Longley beats the shot clock. Rebound to McKee. Indiana still with a chance. Jackson. McKee out near midcourt. McKee for 3. It's long. And Michael is there, as he so often is, with whatever it takes. 12 seconds. Harper in the front court. 10 seconds. Miller reaches in and fouls him with 8.9. It appears the Bulls will survive the Pacers. But what Michael Jordan termed a bump in the road was anything but. It was a mountain to climb. And they barely reached the summit, if in fact they have. 5 points with 8.9 on the clock. The Pacers have been a poor offensive rebounding team all year. Part of that statistic attributable to the fact that they shoot well from the field, but nonetheless, they've usually been beaten on the offensive glass. It really caught up with them tonight. 22 offensive rebounds for Chicago to the Pacers 3. Smits grabs the rebound and asks for a timeout. 7.7 on the clock. To the United Center after this. Indiana has shot 50% tonight. Chicago only 38%. But because of the disparity on the offensive glass, Chicago has taken 22 more shots than the Pacers. In fact, Indiana has hoisted up only 54 shots. The NBA playoff record low since the advent of the shot clock is 53. You can't score if you don't get shots off. At least you can't score enough. And if you don't get rebounds, you're not getting any second chances.
Bob, I go back to that jump ball when it was a three-point game, and the Bulls came up with it, and the Pacers had a chance to go up 5.
Reggie Miller once scored 8 points in 8.9 seconds in a playoff game at Madison Square Garden. They're down 5 with 8.6 on the clock now. They restored a few tenths of a second during the timeout. McKee looks to get it in. Reggie running off screens, but it's Smits with a quick turnaround and miss. Dale Davis can't hit the tip. Longley has it, protects the ball, and on to the finals. For the 6th time in 8 years, go the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan is with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, in all the championship runs, I don't think that you have had as much concern over victory than you did tonight.
Hey, man, this team is real tough, as you can see. I mean, we had to fight for everything that we got. And, you know, we had some key plays from Judge Bushler. The Judge came in and gave us some great minutes. Steve Kerr got us back in the game in the first half. And I think that's where we really, you know, momentum-wise, started to pick things up. When we first came out, I could sense everybody was a little nervous, a little tense. But somehow when we got back in the ball game, we knew we were in a fight, but we knew we had a chance too.
One of the big keys in this game, like you're saying, you were saying we was very strong this evening.
It is a we. It's not one individual. I know, you know, everybody maybe sometimes sit back and wait for me to do it. But today, everybody had to step forward. You know, this team played a heck of a game defense on me, and you know, everybody has to step up and expand the defense. And Steve Kerr really did a good job with that, and Luke and Tony Kukoc.
Now the pressure is not off because this isn't the goal. The goal is in the next round.
Yeah, but we had to get to the round, so it was a hard fight, 7-game series, and you know, Utah's back there waiting for us, and they got the home court advantage this year, and it's going to be even tougher. So I mean, I think a day off will give us a chance to clear our minds and put what's happened behind us and focus on what's in front of us.
All right, Michael, enjoy yourself momentarily. Gear up for the championship run. Let's go back to Bob Costas.
Ahmad, thanks very much. Joining Doug Collins, Isaiah Thomas, and me now courtside is Tony Kukoc. And regardless of the heroics of Michael Jordan, it's very possible that the Chicago Bulls would not be headed for Salt Lake City were it not for the third quarter of this man, Tony Kukoc. Tony, you were blazing in that period.
Well, I felt the shot in the third quarter, and every time I got the ball, I needed just a little bit of time to get it off.
Tony, I thought you took excellent advantage of your foot speed when Dale Davis was guarding you, and you were able to move him out on the perimeter.
Well, that's the thing that I'm trying to do. They start the game posting me up with the Dale Davis, and on the other side, I got to try to take the advantage of outside. And it worked for them early. It worked for us in the third quarter.
Tony, you've had a reputation earlier in your career to go along, of course, with respect for your various abilities, a reputation as it's put, a soft player. A lot of people think that you've dispelled that image in this series.
I don't know. I don't think as a being a soft. Sometimes I'm playing 4 and 5 spots, which is not my natural spot. I played for 10 years on the 3 spots and the guard spot. So right now, sometimes I do struggle against the bigger guys and the stronger guys. But at the same time, I can take the advantage of these guys outside.
Phil Jackson told us yesterday that if Dale Davis had gotten off early, as he did in Game 6 at Market Square Arena, he might have to pull you, even though you've been shooting well, averaging 15 points now and shooting better than 50% in the series, might have to pull you and get Rodman in there earlier than expected.
Well, they did start good. I thought I was playing Davis, as we thought, not getting him in the middle, but he hit some shots over me. He started a good game. But the important thing, that's 48 minutes of a game, so it went good for me in the third quarter, and we won the game.
Tony, quickly, how much nervousness surrounding this team before this Game 7?
Actually, I was very calm. I was very calm, and we never played a 7th game, so this was a new experience for us. But as every other game, you just got to go out and give your best. After that, whatever happens, happens. You cannot do nothing after that, but it will work for us great, and now in the finals again.
Congratulations, and on to Utah. We'll see you there.
Thank you very much.
Okay, when we come back, we hope to be able to hear from Larry Bird. In 7 games, the Bulls have defeated the Pacers, but barely. Back to Chicago after this. So the home team wins every game of this best-of-7 set between the Bulls and the Pacers. It'll be Utah that'll have home court advantage this time in the finals, so the Bulls will have to win at least once on the road if they hope to become a 2-time three-peat champion and win their 6th in a row overall. Last year, the Bulls won in 6, but look how close all the numbers were, and except for Game 2 here at the United Center, 3 defeats suffered by the Jazz were all very close, essentially in Chicago's final possession. Let's take a look at some of it, and I'm sure most of you remember almost all of it. Game 1 ended with Michael Jordan vesting Karl Malone and the Jazz with this jumper. Brian Russell trying to defend him one-on-one, and Michael wins it at the buzzer. Down 0-2 coming home. Stockton to Malone was the remedy, and the Jazz won a couple in a row, evened it at 2. Then in Game 5, Michael, with a fever, suffering from a virus, feeling terrible, somehow comes through with 38 points. They take a 3-2 lead home, and then it's Steve Kerr when they chose to double Michael. Michael found Kerr, and Kerr hits the championship winning basket at the end of Game 6. Malone is denied, and Chicago wins its 5th championship. This year, the Jazz convinced that they can play with the Bulls, beat them in their only 2 meetings, once here and once at the Delta Center, almost identical scores. So you have to believe that with home court advantage, with 9 days of rest, with the knowledge that they were so close last year in the finals and beat them both times this year, that the Utah Jazz enter the final as confident as you can possibly be against the 5-time champion Chicago Bulls. This is the schedule beginning Wednesday, the 3rd of June at the Delta Center. After the first 2 games, we come to Chicago for games 3, 4, and 5 if necessary. If a 6th and 7th are required, they'd be played at the Delta Center on the 14th of June and the 17th of June. Jim Gray now is with Larry Bird. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Bob. I'm here with Larry Bird. Larry, 22-3, the offensive rebounding. They had multiple opportunities. Well, obviously, is that the difference?
Well, that plus we got in early foul trouble, a lot of whistles early, and put us behind the 8 ball, and we just didn't do the things necessary to win the game. We had them right where we wanted. We wanted to stay close, and just knew that Smiths or Reggie would come through for us. But, you know, just not much we can do when they beat us on the boards like that.
Larry, you'd said before the games that you weren't into moral victories. What did you tell your team right there?
Well, they're good enough to beat Chicago. I knew that all year long. I knew we had a great opportunity to win this whole thing, and they started to believe in it in the last couple weeks. And even though Chicago blew us out here in Game 5, I knew they was going to bounce back, and I knew it was going to go to 7. It's just if we just stay tough enough to get through that one game.
The missed free throws, is that going to bother you all summer?
Well, we practice our free throws every day. Guys shoot a number of free throws every day at practice, and some days they just don't go in. In a game like this, yeah, it kills you, but the offensive boards they got and the turnovers we had late in the game really hurt us.
Do you feel as though now that the Bulls are very vulnerable against Utah?
Well, I don't care. They beat us, and I felt we had a great opportunity to defeat them. I knew at the end of the game if Michael got the ball, he's just going to drive in the middle every time to get the calls, and he got them, and it really hurt us.
Larry, we appreciate you coming out. Thank you. All right, Bob, let's send it back out to you.
Jim, thanks. Prior to this series, the Pacers may not have had much of a national identity, but they always meant a whole lot in the basketball-mad state of Indiana with their 3 ABA championships. Now they have something of a national profile, and in a sense what they did here, although they came up just short, what they did here was for Mel Daniels and the late Roger Brown and Freddie Lewis and Bob Nedelicki and George McGinnis and all those folks who wore the Pacer uniform with pride, whether it was a brown ball or a red, white, and blue ball. They made Michael and the Bulls sweat for everything here. And now, barely, they move on against the Utah Jazz. The finals kick off this Wednesday at 9 Eastern with that rematch. And we hope you'll be with us. Coming up next, except for those of you on the West Coast, it's Dateline Sunday. A shipwreck leaves millions in gold lost for over a century. Can the man who dedicated his life searching for it ultimately find it? That's Dateline Sunday next. For Isaiah Thomas, Doug Collins, Ahmad Rashad, and Jim Gray, I'm Bob Costas. This has been the NBA on NBC.
Was, and I guess there are a lot of people in Chicago that are very relieved. This city was virtually neurotic today about what was going to happen here, but the dynasty does live on. They were able to outlast the Pacers, but it took a lot of energy for the Bulls to do this, particularly on the part of Michael Jordan. But he finished the night with 28 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He looked dead tired at the end, but they were able to pull it out, and now they have the chance to face the Utah Jazz in the finals, and the Jazz are very rested, but the Bulls can't be after this one. Still, they win Game 7. I'm going to grab some player interviews and have a lot more later on in the show. Guys?
All right, Sam, thank you very much. We'll be back there live in Chicago with you a little bit later for some more post-game on this one.
Okay, see you later.
All right, we've got more baseball coming your way as well, just around the corner.
And the Iceman is headed your way. NHL analyst Craig Simpson will fox-scope the Red Wing Dallas game.
And we were able to shut their bench down. I think that was the difference in the game tonight.
Phil? Times you see Michael. Could you categorize this for us in terms of just difficulties for him? I mean, how hard he had to work to get done, what he got done, the whole line.
Yeah, he had to play an exceptional game, hard game. We wanted to take the ball aggressively to the basket. It paid some dividends. We got to the free throw line. That's successful from the free throw line. Harp was not having a good game. He had a little bit of a stiff back this morning, and he wasn't moving the way he can move, and Michael had to move over and take Reggie Miller for the second half, or for the yeoman part of that second half for most of the minutes. He did a great job on Reggie, and as we shut him down a little bit, at least in the second half. Scotty gave us great effort, but had a poor shooting night, but he gave us the effort we needed on the boards and moved the ball to the open people, and that was very important for us in this game.
Phil, were you very worried about?
Okay, that's Phil Jackson dissecting tonight's big win over the Pacers. We're going to have more on instant replay tonight's big win in about 10 minutes.
But don't go away.
Game press conference.
Get on over top of him and make sure that he can't get an open look to hit the open man. And he got struggling with the ball a couple times, and Steve really bellied him up and made it difficult for him. And he did get a couple baskets, but that really didn't hurt us in that regard. Jalen Rose, I thought, played well the second half. He just didn't have enough touches, but I thought he played well.
No shots in the fourth quarter. Did they just lose track of them? Or?
They came in with McKee. They went smaller in many instances, and McKee's a great defender and can play on the outside. And they started paying attention to Tony, obviously.
Phil, in your nice peculiar situation, were you concerned with getting down and what it might do pressure-wise to your team?
No. You know, we called an early timeout. We talked a little bit about the shots we missed. We'd missed 4 or 5 free throws at that point as we started out, and we'd missed a couple easy ones inside. Michael, a flip shot at the basket. Scotty had a penetration that didn't go for him. And, you know, those little things will happen. You just can't get discouraged. We talked a little bit about staying aggressive in the game.
Can you give us your impressions now of being the so-called chaser? You're going into Utah, less stress. You don't have the home court advantage. You've always been the opposite position.
Well, we have, except the year we played Phoenix, been in another situation, and obviously that year was a unique year in which we won both the opening games coming in. We're 2 teams that tied at the regular season, 62 wins. You know, thinking about Utah, they played very well this season. I think that their bench is very similar to Indiana's bench. I think this is a good preparatory series for us as far as the type of matchups, the type of energy the bench gives them, the relief they get from their bench players. It's a team that's got much more poise and moxie than a lot of teams in the league because of their veterans. And the matchups are going to be very difficult for us. Stockton, Malone, obviously, and then some of their players coming off the bench have played very well in the playoffs.
Phil, going into Wednesday, they will have been off a week and a half.
Phil Jackson talking about the rematch in the finals with the Utah Jazz because it is on. The Bulls move on today by beating the Pacers. We'll be back in Chicago for more reactions. Sam Marchiano was there. We'll have more post-game comments coming up a little bit later.
Hey there. Welcome to SportsCenter along with Bill Pito. I am Rich Eisen.
Coming up, a spiel from The Real Deal. Which Williams sister is still alive at the French Open? But guess what's first?
I don't have a rundown, but I think it's the Bulls and Pacers Game 7. For months and months, the media has all but roamed the street in an overcoat with an end is near sign. The last time Michael Jordan may do this, the last time Michael Jordan may do that. But for the first time on Sunday, the Air Jordan doomsday analogy took on an air of legitimacy. With the Pacers pushing the Bulls to a Game 7, Jordan's first such contest in 6 years, the end was truly upon Chicago. Perhaps the last time Michael Jordan may play, period. Reggie Miller would have to take on Scottie Pippen and the rest of the Bulls and push them over the brink. But it's Dale Davis enjoying the Tony Kukoc matchup problem early on, and then Miller getting into the act. The tough three-pointer. Pacers led 27-19 after 1 in the United Center. Was distraught. You could hear it in the crowd. But the second quarter, different story. Jordan, the bucket and the hoop. He had 28 points. With that, Jordan, he becomes the all-time playoff scorer, and he did his talking on the bench.
Hey, there's 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in the quarter. Finish quarter strong.
But the Pacers would finish up strong in the first half. Reggie for 3. He had 22 points in the game. Pacers down 46-45. Taking the pass from Jordan, puts it up and in, and Jordan gets after the refs on a non-call he believed occurred a play before. Bulls up 3 at the half. Second half, Bulls getting some big points from Tony Kukoc. Tony can light it up, wide open jumper, and then Tony for 3. Kukoc had 14 of the Bulls' third quarter points, 21 in all. Bulls up 69-65 after 3. Start of the fourth, Birds, Pacers coming back. Tied at 69. Rick Smits was a huge problem in Game 6. The bucket and the foul, Smits had 13 in Game 7. Fourth quarter, crunch time. Jordan trying to get his open shot in the lane. The floater, no good. Comes out to Scottie Pippen and out to Steve Kerr, wide open 3-11. Huge bench points for Kerr in this game. We're tied at 77. And Pippen hitting the glass. He had 12 rebounds off the Longley jumper. The same possession. Pippen, who saves the possession, winds up with the ball and nails 2 of his 17 points. Bulls up 81-79. Jordan doing it all. We mentioned his 28 points. He had 8 assists. Finds Luke Longley wide open. Bulls by 4, 83-79. The Pacers putting the ball in the hands of Reggie Miller in crunch time, and why not? Reggie getting off the shot. It's an air ball. He thought it was foul, but Antonio Davis, one of his 10 rebounds, puts it in. Pacers within 2. Scotty, the wild shot, and it goes in. He had 17 points. Bulls up by 4. Last gasp for the Pacers. Trying to go into Smits. Ron Harper steals it. Bird bumming. Jackson. Stoic. The Bulls hold on. 88-83, so it was not apocalypse now for Chicago. And instead, the Pacers felt the horror as the Bulls win a hard-fought Game 7 in a hard-fought Eastern Conference Finals. The Bulls will play for their 6th title this decade and will start their quest for a second three-peat Wednesday in Utah, a game you can hear Wednesday on ESPN Radio starting at 8:37 Eastern. Before the game, Phil Jackson, a Grateful Dead fan, told his group, whatever happens, it's been a long, strange trip.
I didn't say it's okay to lose. I said you may lose. You may lose this game, but the effort is what you have to play with, not the fear of losing. And, you know, I thought we came out in the first quarter, and we were standing around, and they came out with, I think they scored 10 of their first 11 possessions. They just kept coming at us and put us in the hole, and we had to get up and start playing. And we were able to match defensively because we got some turnovers, and we were able to come down and get some scores.
The Bulls have played 20 home games in the Eastern Conference Finals in the 90s and have won 19 of them. Only conference final loss at home, 92 against the Cavs. In contrast, the Pacers have played 12 road games in conference finals this decade, losing 11 of those, including 3 Game 7 losses. We'll, of course, have more of this later on in the show. Bill.